China-Taiwan temperatures peak in the Taiwan Strait. China is conducting a second day of military drills around Taiwan. The exercise is seen as an angry show of force following Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen's meet with the US House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Beijing has deployed dozens of fighter jets and warships around Taiwan, dubbed as Joint Sword. The three-day operation, which includes rehearsing and encirclement of Taiwan, will run until Monday. Now, according to a report, the task force will simultaneously organize patrols and advances around Taiwan Island, shaping an all-round encirclement and deterrence posture. The move has sparked condemnation from Taipei and Washington. The United States has called on China to show restraint, stressing that Washington was ready to meet its security commitments in Asia. Take a look at these visuals. That's a Chinese military ship which was seen moving in waters close to Taiwan. The ship fired a round from its deck as it sailed around Pingtan Island, China's closest point to Taiwan, which is located around 68 nautical miles away. Last year, Chinese military's Eastern Theater Command had sent more than 1,700 aircraft into Taiwan's air defense identification zone. That, as per Taiwan, is more than double the number from a year earlier. Taiwan says China has continued to use grey zone tactics to test Taiwan's response. Now, grey zone tactics include sending drones, balloons and fishing boats to areas close to Taiwan. While in response, Taiwan's defense ministry has hit out, saying China's move threatens regional stability and security. President Tsai Ing-wen pledged to work with the US and other like-minded countries in the face of what she called was continued authoritarian expansionism. Since Taiwanese president returned from her three-day-long diplomatic trip from the US, fighter planes took off from Taiwan's airbase with Air Force Mirage 2005s, landing at the airbase after concluding the drills, showing its military power in the South China Sea region. Taiwan's defense ministry has also released a video showing soldiers loading anti-aircraft missile launchers, fighter jets taking off, and other military preparedness exercises. The 75-second footage included surveillance of China's Shandong aircraft carrier, which sailed through waters south of Taiwan earlier this week. For more on this, we have Greg Swenson, who is an international affairs expert and China analyst, joining us here at Beyond. Welcome to the broadcast, Greg.
Nice to be here, Shivan.
Greg, China is conducting a second day of military drills around Taiwan. And take us through the significance of these drills by China. How near or far are we to things boiling over?
Well, let's hope not. But this is definitely provocative. I don't think the meeting between President Tsai and Kevin McCarthy in California was provocative at all. And I think China only has itself to blame for helping the bipartisan consensus in the U.S. to meet with the Taiwanese leadership. And I think that's a good sign for, a rare moment of bipartisanship in the U.S. But it's really been driven by China doing things such as the drills this week that I would consider provocative. I don't consider a meeting between allies to be provocative. So, if you have to pick a side here, it's obviously the CCP that's trying to elevate, this situation to something that could lead to something much more dangerous.
Greg, in all fairness, China had made a claim that if Tsai Ing-wen meets with Kevin McCarthy, they will consider it as a sign of provocation or escalation, in whichever way they understand it. Do you feel how far do you feel China can afford to go the way they're proceeding as of now?
Look, we don't know. This is uncharted territory, but China has a history of doing this. I mean, if you look at Hong Kong, of course, where they basically reneged on their commitment to the British and to the world in keeping Hong Kong free and democratic. So, this is not something this is not something new in terms of China being, aggressive and not being particularly trustworthy. But again, by making those rules as they go along, that in itself is provocative. To tell a country that they can't meet with their allies And again, right now, the status quo is peace. And Taiwan has demonstrated that. The U.S. has demonstrated that. So the fact that those two countries are meeting is just a commitment to peace, which is a great thing. So I thought it was particularly interesting that they met at the Reagan Library. I thought that was a good sign. This is the U.S. has no interest in escalating this problem, and it's really the Chinese or the CCP that's driving this. And it's really a shame, but I think it would be naive of both Taiwan and the U.S. to ignore that and not have meetings between the two countries and not prepare, because, that's the best way to avoid conflict. The best way to prepare to avoid for war is prepare for war. That's something that surely the U.S. has not done lately, in the last 2 years anyway. And I think it's something that it raises the importance of building up a peacetime military, peace through strength. And again, the best way to avoid war is to prepare for it. And that's not what the U.S. has been doing recently, at least the last 2 years. The military budget in inflation adjusted or real terms is actually a 3% cut year over year. That's not something that gives the U.S. and our allies any sort of confidence. So I would hope that this meeting between Speaker McCarthy and the Taiwanese leadership, as well as the bipartisan nature of the support for Taiwan, I hope that can lead to proper military spending that is really well designed to avoid conflict.
Thank you for all those updates, Greg.